a public artist here in Charlottesville, and some people want to know, what is a public artist? Well, a public artist is somebody who can raise money for such things as the free clinic. And we have people who are entrepreneurs here in Charlottesville who are very human in that they're in the arts, and the arts encompasses the human spirit. And so without that spirit being somehow exemplified in Charlottesville, we probably wouldn't know who we were as a culture. And so in Charlottesville, people like Henley's Auction and the Ix Art Park and McGuffey and different places are trying to support the artists, trying to support not only the visual artists, the musicians, performing arts, and so forth. And that's because they need to make a living. If they can make a living, well, of course, we'll have more art. If we don't support them somehow, we're not going to have any art. And here we are in the glass palette. And I'm so excited because Cara is a wonderful artist in her own right. And then she is here imparting all her wonderful skills to the rest of Charlottesville. She has been very successful. She was located originally, and she'll tell you probably if we meet her, I'm not sure, because I'm just sort of like here today. But I just want to say, because of Cara and her art, we had connected at some point. We were working for Virginia Artists, which was a nonprofit organization. It was a group of artists who got together, and they decided to donate their proceeds. And so we all got together and we would have exhibits and things like that, and that's how I met Cara. Anyway, but she inspired me to make paintings, one of which you would look at this and you would say, oh, okay, this is an abstract painting. So when you look at a glassware, for instance, and you see the imagery as you look at it in the whole form, okay, and you'll see how I framed it, okay? The reason why I framed it like that is because it's also making it a tabletop. So it's a functional piece of artwork, and I made it so that the aerial type of view, wherever you're sitting at the table top, you can actually see a different point of view. And some people would say, okay, it looks a little bit like a Kandinsky or something like that. Well, this happened to be an inspiration also because the person whose sneakers I borrowed to do this painting likes Kandinsky. So I did the Kandinsky-esque style. And Kandinsky was also an impressionist as well as an expressionist, in that sense that every artist sort of puts an image out there, and then another artist benefits. So Cara, for instance, when she did her glassware, she had reflective things going on in her glassware, and those reflective things were the colors and things, nuances that I picked up on when I looked at them. And so how one artist builds from the other's imagery is why we need to support the artists, because they're innovative, creative, and they're very smart, a lot of them. I mean, how else would they go on and on and on? Which makes an artist an artist. I mean, the idea is that the images that you create are from your intellectualizing of other images, whether it be nature, which of course is like the highest art. In nature, what it does is it has the colors that incorporate the sun and the moon and everything else, the light, which is what the Impressionists picked up on. And as the years progressed, many hundreds of years, expression has had aesthetic appreciation. Means that some people practice little swirls, like African primitive art. They have certain nuances that each generation uses in their sculpture and things like that. And then finally we picked up on it here in the Western culture when we started importing some of the sculpture and imagery. And over here is also, this is a abstract that I did, and it also is a sort of a takeoff of glass reflective imagery. And you would say, okay, but what is this saying? Well, abstraction is what the artist feels is important at the time. It can be something that looks something representational, like a hand or a face or something like that. Or it can look like a very molecular level or a very cellular level type of imagery that has the same message. But the content is what the artist decides is enough. And so, oh, look at this. We are so surprised today. We are meeting Cara right now. Look how, what a surprise.
Hello.
It's
Hi,
nice
how
to
are
see
you?
you.
Great to see you.
And you are?
Hello, I'm Cara DiMassimo. I'm one of the owners of the Glass Palette here in Charlottesville.
And so we are so happy to have just pounced on you today. But we want to thank you so much for your generous support of the free clinic.
Very happy to support
It's amazing. You just started a business and you're already donating to the free clinic, which is the place that people who are employed and are business owners who use the free clinic because they have to be employed. So the idea is that doctors from UVA and nurses and people, restaurants and businesses donate artwork and food and things like that so to sustain it. So then more people learn about the eateries, more people learn about the art. And here we are in this special, amazing place, like for an artist. I walked in here and I remember when I came here before a lot of the shelves were filled up and I just, already I understand that you did a lot of work to this building. Can you explain, first of all,
Yes.
Can you tell the history of your business, like where you started and all that stuff?
All right, yeah, absolutely. So we have actually been in business, this is our 10th year, so time flies. I still feel like it's really new, but we've only been in this particular location just over a year. This was a really big move for us. We had been just off the downtown mall for 8 years and then moved into this space, which is almost 3 times as much space as we had there. So we've got a lot more room to work and play and have customers come in to make projects and take classes, so which is great. But we did do a tremendous amount of work on the space. It was very raw space before there were workshops here for many years, and it didn't have even a coat of paint on it. So we had to do lots of work to make it pretty. We painted everything from the ceiling down to the floor, every single square inch, and we put in this kitchen, which is great. We have private parties and things like that, so we use that, and we have all these glass shelves and all our tables, and so it's been fun to see it come together.
It sounds so easy, but I know that your mom is also a co-owner, am I right?
Yep.
What's your mom's name?
My mom is Maria, and we own the palette together.
Yay, and so she told me you were up on the ladder doing painting the ceiling and all that.
I rented a cherry picker. These ceilings are 27 feet high. I rented a cherry picker, and I had one of those spacesuits on and the whole breathing thing and all that, and spray painted every single inch of that white ceiling
my
up
goodness,
there.
and it so opens up the room.
It does so much, and we are blessed to have this little skylight in there as well, so we get lots of natural light. So the space, I had a vision for the space. Nobody believed me, but I think it's great.
As an artist and needs a studio right now because I'm also in transition, I'm getting a lot of ideas. But I must say that if you don't mind, can you give us a tour and how it's functionally capable of doing the kill and the glass and how the students come in and all that sort of thing. And David Dillhunt, the camera person, director, wonderful person in the world, is going to follow us.
Okay, absolutely. Okay, so what I like to do first is, as I said, show people around. The things that are in the front of the store here are made here by mostly myself and my mom, and they're for sale, but they also act as things, as examples of things that people can create.
So these things on the table right here, as I noticed them, can I just say, just right away, first of all, these are works of art, and especially because what happens with what you do personally and your mom is that you put in your particular nuances. And it's that you're not commercializing your work per se, you're creating each one as an individual piece.
Yes, everything that we make is unique, for sure.
And so the value of it should be supportive, because the more money you make from one piece, for instance, it's not going to be cookie cutted. It'll never be anywhere else but that person's home and or in their businesses. And if you look closely, I mean, how do you do this? How do you
I'll
get
show you.
Yeah.
Okay, come this way. So this is a cabinet full of glass that is a retail glass. So people can buy these for doing fusing projects, stained glass projects, that kind of thing. So our students that have their own studios browse here for some wonderful glass colors and selections. But here in our walk-in studio, we have lots of glass colors available. Everybody who sits down to do work is given a whole rainbow
May I?
of glass that is already pre-cut. So
Can I touch this without getting cut?
Absolutely.
Really? It's like beads, right?
Well, it does have sharp edges and points, but it doesn't bite you. So as long as you're handling it gently, there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm
But
already
lots of
inspired.
beautiful
Wait,
colors.
excuse me. The interview, just stop the interview right now. I'm doing something right now. Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So we also do teach everybody who comes in how to do their own glass cutting. So we have even kids as young as 8 years old can do some glass cutting, which is great.
And you have you actually have how-to.
I have a how-to. I also explain it to everybody, but there is definitely, a list of just the basic steps. So if anyone needs to refer to that, but we're always here to, show people around and help people with their process.
So user-friendly, this place.
Thank you. We're working on that.
You know what, David? Just forget about this. I'm playing here. I just want to stay here. I don't want to go anywhere. Okay, no, just kidding. Okay.
So come around here. So we also have, this is sort of our glass project wall. This is not everything that people can make, but it's a really good place to start. And all of these items we have marked with the prices. The price goes by the size of what people make. They don't pay for time. They only pay for the individual size of item. And the colors and patterns are all up to them. So this is just for choosing what type of item they might want to make. So this is where we start them out.
And this is, again, an individual, what they call folk art as well, in the sense that somebody is choosing their own feelings, sensations, nuances, and taste, and that translates to an individualized, one-of-a-kind piece of imagery and art.
Absolutely.
And so you will never see another piece like this, and when you purchase something like this, you're supporting somebody to keep going and making more of this. So that means you love their work to begin with, you want them to make more work, and I'm all about making money for artists, so.
Absolutely, and we do have some customers and students who actually do sell their work. So they come in, they learn from us in our studio, then they set up their own studios, and they do go out there. Some of them are selling to try to make an income just for themselves. Some of them are just trying to support their art habit.
It's not so much a habit as once you say, this is my defining moment, I need to make 20 of these or a lot of these, this type of composition or even whatever, it becomes a signature. There was a place, for instance, in New York City called Cooper Union. And Cooper Union, once a year on Christmas, sells out their signature pieces.
Oh, wow.
And so all year long, the artists are hungry, and then they count on the visitation from all of New York, and it's been a seasonal thing for many, many, many years. And so this is the sort of thing that I would like to bring to your facility as well, that people can come here and get one-of-a-kind pieces for their holidays, for their families to have, and to, oh my goodness, accentuate their homes and their whole lives. I mean, one of these pieces already makes me feel warm inside. Makes me feel, and maybe because I'm an artist, but also because I know that this is it. It's not going to be in Home Depot or whatever.
You have never played with glass. You need to actually come in and
you can
do
see I'm
that.
a frustrated artist.
I love it when artists in other mediums actually come in and play with the glass, because they bring an entirely different point of view to the medium. And not having the limitations of actually understanding what you can and can't do with a medium can actually make the whole process even more
Your imagination
creative.
is, it just lends itself to.
Absolutely.
Well, I work in different mediums as well, but certainly, as you said, there is something that translates in the color and the reflective quality of glass that is it's different than any medium.
Yeah, it really is. And what's wonderful about it too is, we have people that come in of all ages and all backgrounds, and the kids are always great. They just dive in. They're not afraid. The adults oftentimes, have a little bit more reservation. They're afraid they're going to mess it up or whatever. What's great about glasswork is it's going to be beautiful no matter what. If you can pick colors that you like and put them together, it will become just beautiful and look very professional. And I want to show you some customer work as well.
So those are,
yes.
What are those things?
Those, so I showed you the colors of the cut sheet glass, but we also have what would be called accessory glass, which are things like chopped up glass sprinkles. They're actually called frit, but especially the kids, they like them to call them sprinkles. As long as you don't eat them, that's okay. So you can make really cool effects with the glass sprinkles. There are also things like glass stringers, which are literally strings of glass. They're like spaghetti. And so these are a way to make some, lines and things like that in your glass as well.
My friend Claudia Bean from Charlottesville also made these earrings.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, those are lamp
I wore them for you. So
those are very nice. Good job. So come this way, I'll show you what customers actually come in and make. Over here, this is the area where we have our kilns. So we have 3 large kilns, and we have a medium-sized kiln, and then a couple baby kilns over there.
So these are gas or?
No, these are electric. They all have computer controllers. Glass kilns need to be very controlled in terms of the rate that you heat up the glass in the kiln, the length of time you let it to soak so it does what it needs to do, and then the cooling also has to be really controlled. So you need to have a computerized controller for that.
So these are very expensive pieces of
Of equipment? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and when you start up your business, you already are in debt.
Oh, sure.
And then you really require an overhead being supplemented by your customer base, but you also could be selling, for instance, industrially. Like, do you sell out in museums or anything like that?
I do minimally. I have shows a couple times a year. I just finished a big show that I had in Richmond of a whole new set of work that I just created, and unfortunately they're all in boxes right now, so I can't show you those. But I did a whole new series that I just showed in Richmond, which was great. We don't do as much just full-time selling out of galleries, although I have a few things in the Ashlon Museum shop. Some jewelry and
I
things.
love that place. Oh my gosh.
Yes, I'm a member of the Artisan Center of Virginia, and they have now teamed up with Ashlon to get local art in there, and so the quality of the artwork there has definitely
That's why I go
improved,
there
and
once
it's
a year.
great.
I go there once a year just to look at the art there. I mean, that is the most eclectic place for not only artisan work, but for fine art, for everything, folk art.
Yeah, they've
Oh my
got some
God.
amazing. Yeah, the
Folk
Artisan
art.
Center
Oh my
brings
God.
in artists that work in so many different mediums, and so it's really great. You can see turned bowls and ceramics and quilting, glass. I mean, there's just some amazing
We're so
things
lucky
there,
to have
so.
you. I can't tell you. I mean, you are
Thank
so amazing. You're so talented. Oh my God. And you're like in my backyard. I just live up the street of Bell. Okay,
Oh,
so.
I didn't know that. Okay, so these are customer projects, and so like this one was put together. This is a wall hanging. This is fresh from the kiln. So that got melted last night.
So awesome.
And this is a finished piece. It has some hangers here that we put in between the layers of glass. And so the person who came in and made this, all she had to do, she told us what size she wanted it to be, and we made this clear glass circle for her to work on. And then she just played with the colors. So she created this all on her own, glued everything down, and then we fire it. And all that glass melts together. We decided, or she decided she wanted it textured. So this one is, has the texture, and it'll be a wall hanging piece.
Oh my gosh, everybody in Charlottesville needs these pieces. I mean, there are people that just moved in here, there's apartment rentals, and everybody has these barren walls, and what a sin that they're right here. You are the one, the glass palette for all my wall hangings. Oh, I'm getting carried away, okay.
All right, and then, let's get this thing out of the way. These are pieces waiting to get picked up. So these are finished, already made, things like bowls and plates and things that other customers have just come in and made. Just a lot of them just one-time visitors from out of town, and then we have lots of families that come in and create artwork as well on a more regular basis.
How do the people from out of town get whim of your glass palette
They
facility?
find us online. We are listed as a Charlottesville attraction on TripAdvisor, so that's one of the ways that they
Yay.
find us.
Yay.
But oftentimes people actually find us by looking for things to do. So they're not technically looking for art things, but they find us under this
So you're
activity.
famous internationally.
And internationally famous,
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes. Oh my goodness. And those are like, what are those?
These are molds.
Right.
This is what we use to shape the glass into the bowls and plates here.
Oh.
So everything, as you saw, will start flat. You know, glass is always flat. So we start flat, we melt things together flat, and then we can shape them into bowls and plates using the ceramic molds.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Well, this has been an amazing thing, and I can see that people, when they come in here, I've seen a couple of people come in here, and they already are going to go to work, or they've got their, so they have like a cubby hole or something where they put their stuff. Is that how it works?
Well, when people have work in progress, we do store it for them so they can come back and finish later. Most people, though, are only here just for a one-day visit. They make their item, the item is done, and then they just have to come back and pick it up, or we ship it to them if they're from out of town. So most people are, you know, they come, they do their work, they leave it here for us to fire and finish, and then they come back and get it.
Oh my goodness, this is so, I mean, how did you, so it's just experience, and you know, having a business for so long, I guess, and then being able to understand all the needs of all the people, and then setting it up so that it's so user-friendly in here.
It's been an ongoing process for sure. I mean, so, you know, over the years, we've definitely learned a lot of ways to just make everybody feel more comfortable, to make everything more accessible, and, you know, have people, you know, really produce work that they're really happy with. That's important to us.
This is like the ultimate studio for an artist, and I'm hoping that when people see this, as well as your own advertisement and everything else, I'm going to incorporate it, of course, with Henley's auction.
Absolutely. That's right.
We're trying to promote Henley's to be the place to sell art and make money, so that Charlottesville people know that the community at large will benefit when the artists make money. Will bring more of these wonderful aesthetics to each environment, people moving in, and that will add to the happiness of Charlottesville, basically.
Oh, definitely.
And we already know that because Piedmont Council of the Arts did a 2-year study with R.J. Reynolds, and they established that without the arts, now we have some galleries that closed up in the downtown mall because of the leasing was prohibitive, and that happens with artists everywhere. Like in New York, they move from Soho to Yoho and back and forth, and to wherever the rents are. But here in Charlottesville, the basis for making money is the art. So we need now to support and subsidize your rent, for instance. And then because you are part of the economic drive of Charlottesville, we know that, it's established. And Henley's is also going to make sure that the prices are so that people can make a living doing the art, so they can make more art. And we're just going to explode and not have these galleries closed, but actually have people like you subsidized, and that's the plan. So.
Well, we appreciate all the work that you do to try to.
It's not me, it's everybody, it's you. So thank you so much, Cara.
Thank you.
No,
Thanks,
thank you. And I just want to and say.
Intense color, bursts of movement, shapes which seem to dance, yet remain suspended in time. The style could belong to just one man, Dale Chihuly. It's here at Chihuly's Boathouse Studio on the banks of Seattle's Lake Union that his Technicolor visions come to life, and where I came to do something I've always wanted to, get a lesson in the ancient art of glassblowing from the revolutionary artist himself.
We're going to have you blow a piece of glass?
I'm going to try.
All right.
Chihuly's designs are unmistakable. In just a few decades, he's breathed new life into an art that was largely unchanged for thousands of years. Yet his own view was dramatically altered more than 30 years ago after a car accident left him blind in one eye.
You don't have any depth perception, is that correct?
Well, yeah, I have no depth perception and no peripheral vision. That's the main reason why I quit blowing glass myself. As the pieces got bigger and the team got more complicated, I felt like pulling back away from the making of it.
But he is still very much in charge of each creation. Every piece begins with his vision, first as a painting, a blueprint for his team of skilled artists.
God, I think that might be enough. That's enough.
In just the last decade, Chihuly has staged nearly 100 shows and installations around the world. From hotels to museums, even the great outdoors. He continues to push the boundaries.
How much of glass blowing is an art, a creativity that people have within them, and how much of it is learned?
It's one thing to make it as a craft, to make beautiful objects that are, say, functional. But to make it as art, you have to make something that nobody's ever seen before. Maybe bring that one in a little bit.
After nearly 4 decades, Chihuly remains one of the best teachers of this craft. And on this day, I am his student.
You're up.
All right, Eric. All right.
Do I need any protective gear?
Here, take these. Need some glasses.
The heat is intense, though it should be when you're using an oven at 2100 degrees. With the molten glass nearly flowing off the rod, my first piece finds some definition in a mold.
Okay, now go ahead and blow. Blow hard. Good. Stop.
The glass will require several more bursts of air, each observed and measured by my world-renowned coach.
There we go. Good job. Okay, slow it down just a little bit. Good.
Next up, color.
So, Dale, what is this doing?
You're picking up some cobalt. They'll blow out and be able to see the color a lot more.
It is a quick, coordinated effort. The glass has to keep moving, has to stay hot
Turn, turn, turn.
to maintain its shape.
You're doing it just right. Stop.
Before I know it, Dale and his team have helped me create a full collection. More beautiful than I'd hoped for, yet a far cry from the masterpieces this studio is known for.
We can't thank you enough. I have even more appreciation now. Thank you.
Wow. My pleasure.
Pleasure.
Thanks for coming.